Welcome to AMP Rapid Fire. Whether office or sports, talent might open the door, but the mindset determines how long you stay in the room. This is a SaaS and mental performance where we build high-level performers who become world-class human beings. 10 questions, real mindset, under pressure. I'm Carl Sasson. Today's guest, Jeff Zehr. Jeff and I crossed paths not only in junior hockey, but pro, and Jeff was fortunate enough to make it to the NHL. So welcome, Jeff.
Thanks for having me on, Carl.
Perfect. So let me start with this. Eventually, the role you play comes to an end, but the mindset you build stays with you forever. What does that mean to you?
You know, I think we're creatures of habit. So what you put out to the universe is what the universe is going to give back to you. Me personally, I want to be a positive leader. I think I always have been in everyday life. You know, family comes first, then health, work, key, podcasts. And, you know, I'm a big believer, as you've seen me play on the ice and briefly know me off the ice. But I go hard or go home. I always have. I always will. When it's work time, it's work time. When it's play time, it's play time. That goes on and off the ice. That goes in life. You know, it's the way and who I am anyway.
No, that's excellent. And I respect that because you set your boundaries, which so many people don't. Give me your background. What brought you to where you are today? A great background. I'd love to hear a little more about it.
Right, for sure. Canadian from Ontario, small town called Tavistock. I grew up with about 1,200 people, and I played double C minor hockey, which is unheard of. Basically, it's house league hockey because our community is so small. We had like one street light. You know, that's where I grew up in and played. You know, as I started getting older, my skill set got a little bit stronger. You know, back in the day, we got to jump levels. You know, I was playing Pee Wee Bantam and midget, all as like a barely in puberty kid. Played my minor hockey there, my hometown, never went. AAA came around by the time I got to Bantam or whatever it is now, U15, U16. I never left, stayed in my hometown, played junior B at 15, turning 16, won a junior B Sutherland Cup championship. We swept Joe Thornton, Brian Wilsey, and Brian Campbell, St. Thomas Stars in the finals 4 straight. Thornton and I fought 3 out of the 4 games. No big deal. And then we both went to the OHL. Obviously, he went first overall to Boston in the show. I went 31st overall to the New York Islanders, but then I signed with Boston as a free agent, got to play in Boston in 99, 2000, and I played 4 games. My stall was beside Jumbo Joe and Sergei Samsonov. And then I went down. I got sent back down to minors. I blew my knee out again like I did in junior. Bounced around semi-pro hockey for 10 fortunate years. Lots of chapters in my book that I'm going to be writing. I have 3 handsome boys that are, my oldest boy and his wife have gifted Julie and myself 2 lovely granddaughters. So I'm a grandpa. And I have 3 healthy and happy sons, and they have girlfriends and wives and 2 grandkids, and Julie and I have been together now for like 18 years. Life is what you make of it, man. Like, you know, we've all been in the penthouse, and hopefully not everybody has been in the outhouse, but I've been in both, and now I'm, you know, I'm about in the middle, but I'm heading towards my exit plan of, you know, gonna enjoy some permanent art.
Excellent. That's just a great story. So well-rounded, Jeff. I appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit you up with 10 quick questions. We'll check that mindset, which to me, it seems like you have an incredible one. Right now, no thinking. Are you more driven by fear or confidence?
I think it's a bit of both. I definitely think that confidence for sure, because I get reminded, or I get people that make comments that, how can you be so cool as a cucumber, but yet be scary like a shark? You have to be under control. And at the same time, you got to unleash the beast when the beast needs to be unleashed.
So true. With that being said, when those situations come up, what mental performance habit has helped you perform better, not only in business, but in life?
Failure to prepare is preparing for failure. So I think it starts before the event or whatever you got going, a day, a week, a month before, whatever you're going into. I think that a lot of breathing techniques and just getting your mind clear and focused. And, it might be corny to some, but I think reaching out to God and praying will help lead you the way as well.
Absolutely. There's no question about that. For me, I had one of the demons in the closet, which was alcohol. And I finally became alcohol free in October 2020. And that
Good
really
job.
tested my, yeah, that really tested my mindset. Like unbelievable. What would you say tested your mindset the greatest? You mentioned the knee injury. What other things in your life really tested you?
Well, I've had 4 knee surgeries, 12 surgeries in 10 years of pro on my body. I'm probably at least 40 pounds heavier right now than when I played. I'm healthier. I obviously had some demons like yourself. I wanted to be the Dennis Rodman of hockey. As a teenager, I had a kid. I just turned 17. I became a dad. I was an addict. I was addicted to women and to everything that we can do and with women. Booze came along with it, partying, and that was part of it, man. Like I just like going back to what I said, I was always and I still am go harder, go home. It's just now I think with my head. Period.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. And that's something I love to talk to athletes about. You made it to the top. What do you believe the 1% think or do differently than that top 10%?
I think that the one percenters, it's at some point in your life you're willing to go through a wall. Is that wall for you, for your teammate, for your team, or for winning? We've all been beaten up or beaten down and have overcome something. Just having the camaraderie in the room that leads to off ice relationships is pretty huge. I know in one of my NHL camps when I was younger, I remember psychologists and people coming in and talking to us as a group saying how you might play 5, 10, 15 years, junior, pro hockey, whatever it is, and you might end up talking to 1 or 2 guys on
Hmm.
your team for the rest of your life. And when you think about that, like 10 years of pro, that's only 20 guys. And who do I talk to regularly? Probably only 20 guys. I do have some teams where there's 10 of us that will check in every few months or a year, but it's not regular. It's I don't know if it's a scary stat, but when you think about it, uh, making friends on the ice and off the ice is they become family and they really are. And it's willing to going back to your answer, the one percenters, it's really willing to go back to what are you willing to do?
Absolutely so true. And the discipline comes into that and everything with it. So, being the challenges you saw in your career, what did failure teach you that success never could?
I think it's, getting up, back up, dusting yourself off, believing in yourself and your talents, and get back on the saddle and give her. Hockey and on ice is one thing, and then you have your off ice, your addictions or struggles or whatever might happen that some people got to go through. Like personally myself, near the end of my career, my first wife, like our relationship ended. I struggled with living in a home, a big home by myself. Like I felt like the ceiling, the walls were coming down. I couldn't be alone. And still going out and having to play and then playing through injuries while, trying to finish the season, but at the same time trying to see your family and trying to make things work. And, telling your friends and family, like, don't feel sorry for me. Just keep giving me options to keep giving me reasons to get up and to bust my ass so that I can support and have, chapters and stories with my kids.
No, that's good. You're successful at what you currently do. I've followed up and seen some articles. What do you think transferred from sports to your business persona that helped you?
I think it's just, we've touched a couple things with, having confidence, communicating with confidence, being a role model, being strong, being mentally prepared, being successful, giving back to the community. And there's all different ways. Also having a family, having granddaughters, trying to, it's almost at the point where, Julie and I we've raised my 3 boys and now it's our granddaughters and we're planning and hoping to help them out down the road and in the future. But also, we've busted our ass for 47 going on 48 years myself. all the surgeries, the 300 fights, at some point my
Mhm.
brain might go. I don't know, knock wood. I do have some foggy days and all that kind of stuff. But like going back to is, what we put in our bodies and how we treat our bodies and our mind is what you're going to get out of it. And, if I could be as healthy and strong and positive as what I am now, if I, you know, 20, 25 years ago when I played, I wouldn't say I'd still be playing, but I probably still would have had even more success than what I had.
That's so true. Somebody made a comment to me that they said if I would have known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself, which that's just an ironic statement because I'm with you. I value my health.
No, and that's, like I already said once, we're creatures of habit, right? You see something, you want to be it. You want to emulate it. You want to become whatever you see or do. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, but we are what we eat as well. Like if you're going to eat fast food and Wendy's and Burger King and McDonald's and Belly Busters the whole time, that's how you're going to feel.
Yep,
And that's how your body is going to respond. If you eat healthy and eat the foods that God gave us, then you're going to get more out of it.
absolutely. Now, from the sports world and the business world, we've encountered toxic performers, whether it be a teammate or a business associate. How do you manage that individual now in the workplace if you have a toxic high performer?
Well, there's always like saying or a cliche in the hockey world is, like you try to, and maybe in all sports and teams, you try to cut the cancer out.
Mhm.
Um, it's tough because our world is extremely soft. Nowadays, you say the wrong thing, you're going to offend somebody or a pronoun or whatever it is. And I'm not one to judge, but I go back. If you think and you read and you do some research, man, we got our heart can still be big and you can try to help others, but there is a time and a place where you got to just worry about yourself, your family, and move on.
I agree with that. What is one thing in your life you know to be certain right now?
Well, I'm certain that I'm definitely a giver and want to see, yes, I want world peace. I want my community strong. I want my kids and my grandkids to have a future. If that's going to be in Canada or where that's going to be, I don't know. But I want them to experience life. I want them to have their failures and struggles, but overcome them and be positive and give back to the community and just be the best that they can be.
That's a great point. So finish this sentence. Someone has a killer mindset when they,
I think someone has a killer mindset when they have or they make no excuses and are fearless through being relentless. I think that excuses are for losers. You don't want to be that person that I could have, should have, would have. Just be fearless, man. Every day, there's every hour when you're at home or you're out and about or you're on the street or sidewalk or at work or the rank, you're going to come across something with that. It might scare the bejesus out of you and you might have zero control of it. So you got to give her, man. Like at the end of the day, it's if you're at work or you're at school and you're not trying your best or hardest, it doesn't mean that it's going to be right or get 100% or whatever. But if you're not putting in the effort, like how do you go home and try to pass that on to your own?
that's an absolute nugget. You just summed up everything right there in that brief thought process. So, final question. If a young athlete's listening today and they're struggling with confidence, pressure, or mistakes, what advice would you give them?
I would say, first of all, you woke up in the morning and the sun came out or light is there. So that's a good start. And the rest of the day, however long you're up, it's up to you. It's up to you to make the most of it. Do you want to do some studying, some reading, some research? Do you want to eat better? Do you want to make sure you're drinking all your water? Are you taking care of yourself, your family? Do something that you enjoy doing. Are you having fun? Are you working hard? Are you being a positive person? Are you being a positive role model? Sure, it sounds like a lot. Are you writing stuff down? Like I constantly write, Carl. Like every day I write. I just did some research the other night because I'm big on, I mean, sleep's important. Some people say, you need 8+ hours, 10 hours. The whole 8 hour sleep thing came about hundreds of years ago from a mattress company. That's what they sold us on. You need 8 hours. No, you don't. The old thought process was we sleep 4 hours, you're up for an hour or two, and they call that the golden hour. And that's where you can maybe get some reading, get something in, and then you go back to sleep and you sleep another 3 or 4 hours. It's broken up sleep. I mean, it's not for everybody. I know I'm a light sleeper, so I sleep 3, 4 hours. And if I get up, I read, I write a little bit, and then I go back to sleep. Try it.
I
You never know. There's got to be times in some people's lives where they're not sleeping well and something's going on in their mind or their life or they're in no control. Well, if you wake up in the middle, go read a book for a bit, go stretch, go do something, go back to
uh,
sleep, and maybe you're going to feel better.
that's awesome. That's definitely something I will look into. Well, Jeff, thank you. Very insightful, your responses, and I'm grateful that we were able to connect. So thank you so much for your time. It's extremely important to help, like you said, the next generation.
Yeah, for sure. And with myself having Forzy's podcast and having my podcast on cable TV and all that kind of stuff, we definitely got to bring you on as a guest sometime, and you can really push and pump your amp here, and we keep helping each other, brother.
Absolutely. That's what this is all about. Perfect, Jeff. At Assassin Mental Performance, discipline today, dominate tomorrow. If this conversation helped you think differently about performance, share it with an athlete who needs to hear it. Follow Assassin Mental Performance for more. Hammer that subscribe button, like. Let's get some followers. This is something that we don't pay enough attention to. Till we chat again, have a fantastic day. Thank you.